Glad to know you're still with us. And of course, yeah, we started this particular part talking about Seplat and Exxonmobil. Well, the federal government had in May 2022 refused to give its consent to the transaction, attributing its decision to reject the deal due to overriding national interest, among other reasons. So now that we have Mr. Garuba with us, hello, Mr. Garuba, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, fine. Now, talk to us about this. The NNPC had earlier secured a court judgment that temporarily blocked Exxonmobil Corporation from selling its Nigerian assets to Seplat. Was the president wrong in giving his assets to the sale initially before reversing himself?
Well, all this demonstrates that this government, they're saying that they have made doing business easy is no longer there. Because this is the same thing we experienced during the Ondo had their acquisition. And now it is repeating themselves. So history...
Please go ahead if you can hear me. Well, I think it started on a very good note, talking about the ease of doing business and making reference to what happened to Oando. You want to take it up from there?
Yes, well, I will look at it from a different perspective.
Okay.
Yes, there will be no point trying to even blame the president or the presidency for anything, because in investment, if you recognize a mistake, then there's nothing wrong to correct it. Yes, the president is substantive minister. So
what is the mistake now? Was it that he erred in assenting in the first place?
It did not err.
Okay.
The president is the substantive minister for petroleum.
But NPRC is saying they are the regulators, and according to the PIA, they are the ones who are supposed to advise.
Exactly. So probably the Seplat, the president is saying, Seplat is a local company, and all the papers they submitted to him, of course, it's only just to append the signature. There's nothing wrong with that. Seplat is a local Nigerian company doing so well, both in Lagos Stock Exchange, the NGX, and of course in London.
Yeah.
Okay, so and IOC was divesting. Seplat is okay, yes.
But you're looking at NNPC's argument. They said they have the rights of first refusal.
Agreed. So let us, if we are now saying, if NNPC now say, okay, we are not ready, Seplat will have just taken it. But we must commend the regulatory agency for standing their ground and saying, no, we need to do our job before advising the president. What I believe happened was some person just took it hurriedly to the president, and of course, the president is just trying to say, okay, let this transaction go on quickly. IOC is leaving. This local one can take it over. Okay, decide.
All right, I think we have Mr. Galba back with us. If you can hear me,
yes.
Please go ahead with your thoughts.
What I'm saying, since the president gave his consent, he shouldn't renege his consent.
Yes.
Whoever did not do his work should be punished. But the president should stand by his say. This is what we experienced during the Ondo, and now it's repeating itself. The regulators are not ready to do their work. He should find those who are not ready and punish them. He gave his word and stand by his word. It is not helping the economy. It's not helping any foreign investors to come and do business with this kind of attitude.
Yes.
Okay, I would like you to talk about that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just to add to what Elijah just said, I will tell you that no government have no business in doing business when it comes to this kind of situation. One, if you look at the president's argument initially when I said the Seplat will be able to make up the 100,000 unit markup per day that they just sign up. And also look at the NNPC. Before now, they've been in that circle. What have they done with all the time they've been in Nigeria? What have they achieved much? We are still underproducing, even to meet OPEC quota. Then for me, if we are seeing that Seplat, we have seen the kind of well-managed company, well-run, we have seen activities in that industry. At the same time, this company has also the capacity to help us to achieve that additional 100. What stops us not allowing this thing to go? Because first of all, this is not the first time in the same industry they are, and we have local content. And this is the only one I've said that can help us to do, prevail on what we are supposed to meet in terms of OPEC quota. For me, going back and forth by the government, as I said, it's not a good sign to encourage either direct investment in Nigeria or portfolio investment. Because at the end of the day, if I'm coming to Nigeria, I'm not sure of regulation the next day. Why will I bring my hard-earned money to Nigeria to come and invest? For me, let's look inward and wash ourselves, our dirty clothes inside before coming to the public. Yeah. Because as government, the president, which is #1 man, even apart from being minister of this is the #1 man in Nigeria. He has sent his signature. The regulators are coming by the back. Fine, it's good for you to play your role, but if you have not kind of meet up to your expectation, and now it has passed to your table, allow it to fly. What you do, you now start coming and see what you can correct at the back, not coming down to the one tell them, oh, Nigeria is not safe for investment because the president can assign contract to fly, the regulator say it should not fly. Like he just said, Owando today is not making anything headway in the market for investors. If this attitude is being repeated for Seplat, that will tell many of us that are in Seplat to say what I say, but the company have demonstrated good capacity to grow, bring us to where. For me, let's government and regulator come back together and let them go ahead and with it. For me, it's a good thing for Nigeria. Oil sector. Well,
just to wrap up this particular segment, what has been the impact of this announcement back and forth on the market?
This or that, I like that question. Look at the Seplat.
No, you see, the truth of the matter, it shows you the foreign investors running out from this country. Today, as I'm talking to you, before we have 50% domestic, 50% foreign investors. As I'm talking to you, 87% are domestic, only 13% of the foreign investors because of this attitude. How can the president make a decision and reverse himself in 3 days? The regulators, are the regulators not appointed by the president?
Exactly, sir.
As the leader, you stand by your word.
Yeah, just so done. If you look at the way market should react into news, look at London market. As at the day this news was hit the market, the stock get about 15% in London market. But in Nigeria market, the stock remain flat.
Yeah, it was flat.
It tells you that those foreign investors understand the importance of what news and what's expected to Seplat to gain from this kind of business. And we Nigerian investors also benefit from, because this is where Seplat is operating. For me, yes, you say BIB is there, government is there, regulator is there, we agree. But let's see that if you really want to open door for foreign investors to come in, you must do a due diligence before you come to the public and disgrace yourself. It's as simple as that.
All right. Because of what you just said about the fact that there in London they reacted, but in Nigeria it was flat. What happened?
It's just because people are like, what happened? People are cautious whether the government will because the same NNPC have gone to court before now, and then CBN, president giving consent. We don't know what everybody was sitting to. But those in the matured market, London has already taken advantage of this. Is a good thing that will impact this company productivity. Performance, that now they're expanding their capacity. We saw what happened in Owando after expanding capacity, nothing has come from there. We'll see what is happening in what we call Adova now, just trying to expand capacity. But we have seen that the little Seplat had, they have managed very well, and so that going forward we'll see a better performance. For me, it's a good way to go if the president can come back and still give approval to this deal.
All right.
Okay, that's right. You see, our market repeats the act.
Please hold on. We want to take Mr. Charles' thoughts. We need to manage our time. All right.
It is not that bad, Yes. What it is NNPC, but because of that court order, that was why Nigerian investors did not react. It was simple because they were waiting for that court order that NNPC has gone to obtain from the Federal High Court. But I would say, moving forward, if what it is NNPC Limited now or Seplat, those assets can be managed by both of them.
All right.
So they can come to an agreement and say, okay, because at the end of the day, it's for us to increase our production quota.
Yes.
So that we can sell and get our revenue to meet.
Even we can see that our is falling, and nobody's enjoying this high.
I guess this is an interesting conversation that everybody really wants to get into. Okay, very quickly, beg your pardon. Very quickly, we take this. So now the federal government's plan to borrow about 720 billion naira through FGN bond auctions in the third quarter of 2022 has come under threat. The calendar shows that the federal government, through the DMO, seeks to raise between 210 billion naira and 240 billion naira in each of the 3 months in the quarter through subscription in 3 tranches of 10-year, 10-year, and 20-year original tenor respectively. So we have 3, 10, 10, 20. However, the 225 billion naira FGN bond offered by the DMO at the July auction recorded 37% under subscription, as total subscription stood at $142 billion. I'd like to start with you, Omodran.
Actually,
what does this say about investors' appetite?
No, actually, like I said earlier before now, that investors are looking at, we're seeing rallying inflation already on increase. And also, from what we're hearing, that the government is broke, and the same time insecurity on the other side, investors are scheduled to go into bond now. Yes, we know that, yes, federal government bond is like is secured and safe. We agree. But people are still analyzing, if at the end of the day, if, like my colleague here said, that inflation will hit 20%, and that is just a figure. In terms of it's almost around 23 or 25, but 20% fine. But any investment that's not giving you anything around that position, for me, it's not represented. That's why the solution is really going to hit most of the FG bond. That's why I see most of the private bond from corporate are not coming to the market now, because they know that people will not look at that. That's why they are going to do what? Commercial paper, all those stuff, with FDNQ. For me, government should also slow down, because they are yet to manage our economy well. If we look at what is happening in foreign exchange market, before they can run to Eurobond, they can't run to Eurobond now, because the exchange rate is high. It will be a burden for government also to service such borrowing at this time. And for me, if you look at also the cost of managing our servicing our debt, it's more than normal, even more than the capital expenditure for 2020 budget. For me, we should also rethink, or even half of it. Let us rethink and see that it's not going to borrow to kind of a finance budget. What are we achieving with the ones we have at this time?
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Galba, let's have your thoughts on this. Mr. Galba, please go ahead. All right, Mr. Charles, in 30 seconds, so we can go on to the next one.
Well, I would say the federal government is doing all they can, But
can they even meet that target?
Of course, it's obvious that they cannot meet that target. Right? I mean, even investment for beginners will tell you, if you are seeing the 20% inflation rates, that's my own projection. And, okay, you have seen already 18.6%.
Yes.
Then you are having an instrument that is giving you 12%, 30%. And of course, the MPR is even about, what's the MPR? About 14%. So no discerning investor will go for those kind of instruments. However, like he said, the bonds are backed by the weight of the federal government. But some persons will look at insecurity. He who goes borrowing, they say goes sorrowing. So the government, through DMO, needs to manage our debt very well. You cannot be using substantial amount of your revenue to service your debt. What happens to developmental issues, growth? So we have a real problem when it comes to debt management. Like he said, the Euro bond market, you can't even go there. Yes, you can't even go there. So what I would advise the government to do, yes, tamper back, see other sources where you can generate revenue, manage the economy, then of course, we will see people coming back to the fixed income space, the federal government bonds.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts. Well, we'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll turn our attention to the second quarter consumer goods earnings performance, and of course, we'll do comparative analysis of these earnings. Stay with us, we'll be right back.